Hello, 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 everybody. How are y'all doing today? You guys doing all right, all right, all right? Yes, I'm sure all you beautiful, amazing people are doing quite well in this heat. Damn, it's hot, isn't it? uh, see, apparently where I am situated, it is 85. It feels a little hotter than that, but whatever. I guess it's 85. Let me just take a long dram of. Wait, no, a dram's like a sip. A sip of water. There we go. Tasty, tasty, tasty ice cold water. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm growing facial hair, and I think it's time for me to chop it off because, I don't know, I think the mustache is getting a little too long and is starting to tickle a little bit the sides whenever I smile. I smile every time I laugh, and I laugh, giggle quite frequently like a schoolgirl. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, so last time we left off on Breach Archangel job, we left mid interrogation. Mostly because there's a thing where this is a way to raise your relationship stats with Raquel and Michael, and I didn't want to bore you with several minutes of silence while I just repeat the same two actions again and again and again and again and again. Yeah. Oh, if you're curious, I will be on later tonight with the boys. Michael, wait, no, not Michael. Sorry, Robhan and Jay. Robin and Jay, we're going to be playing either Dying Light or we're going to be trying out Chaos Waste and Vermintide 2 on console. So, yeah, if you're around for that time, then, just, I'm here. We're going to be there. For sure, for sure, for sure. All right, well, yeah, let's not hold it off anymore. I'll, yeah, let's get started. I swear to you, tomorrow we'll get back onto we'll do Final Fantasy Tactics because I know I'm supposed to do that Saturday, and Saturday I ended up. What the hell? Oh, that's right. Uh, I passed out from the heat. I was out for several hours. Realized it was late. Ended up having to eat dinner and spend time with the familia and all that. And yeah, that's why I only ended up doing Dying Light. So, my apologies. Yesterday was, well, I'm sure you can infer, but I'm an American. So yesterday was the 4th of July, America Day. So yeah, I had some barbecue with an uncle. It was a good barbecue too, carne asada. We had salmon and onion and bell pepper and shrimp kebabs. They were really tasty. I'm surprised that salmon turned out well on a grill like that as a kebab. Some ribs, not like barbecue style, but like Hispanic style ribs. It was pretty good. Some rice with damn, I can't remember what it is, but it's some spice that turns it yellow and gives it a nice little flavor. Yeah, it was good and all that. We had a little cilantro. We had chimichurri, which is uh, it's like tomato with onion and a bunch of other kind of little stuff. It's just like vegetables and you pour it over, whatever you want really to give it that flavor. So yeah, we had a good time. We saw some fireworks from there's a speedway kind of close by, and you could see it from the house. So that was nice. Got to see fireworks. We saw Bohemian Rhapsody, and yeah, that was yesterday. So I apologize for yeah, for for Saturday especially, because that one just slipped me because I fell asleep. All right, I've gone. We're already at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so let me shut up and I'll keep reading. I'm sorry for boring you with the itty bitty details. Oh man, I know how to talk people's head off. All right, let's get started then. All right, you point the barrel of shooty shooty bang bang and smile at his face as he immediately looks away and tries to put his hands up, but then realizes they're still tied up to the back of the chair. Whoa, not cool, dude. You heard your boss. You can't kill me. Andrew tries to push himself back away from you as far as he can, All he does is kick himself in the chair a few inches back. He chuckles as you continue to hold him at gunpoint. Are you stiff enough to kill me, huh? Go ahead. Pull the trigger on an unarmed man. Give Gabriel a quick glance, and you can see that even though he's allowing this, he won't allow you to pull the trigger. You see just a slight shake of his head, and enough to let you know to not pull the trigger. Well, let's put our hand on his shoulder. Persuasion. Walk over to Andrew and simply put your hand on his shoulder, giving off the sign that you're in control. With your hand on his shoulder, he looks up to you with a confused look. Gabriel? What's he doing? Why isn't he saying anything? I don't know, but if I were you, I'd start talking. You hear Gabriel say behind you. Andrew looks back and forth from you and Gabriel and begins to feel unnerved. Disturbed by your palm on his shoulder, he gazes back at you in frustration. Andrew looks to Gabriel with a defeated look. Gabriel walks over and puts his hand on your shoulder. So, Mr. Borchardt, has my colleague jogged your memory? He says to Andrew. Just tell me what you want to know, he says, trying to look away from Gabriel. Gabriel walks closer to him, walking in front of you as he pulls out his phone. There's a grammatical error here. As he pulls out his phone, opens a recording app and sets it down on Andrew's lap. Andrew tries to avert his gaze as Gabriel takes a knee in front of him. Gabriel pulls out his pistol and holds it to his side. What were you doing at Vam Tower? Andrew sighs before answering. The cartels, they were after me. He finally raises his gaze to meet Gabriel's light blue eyes, emotionless eyes. Why would they be? I thought the outfit and the cartels were best of pals, Gabriel says mockingly. We were. Before you and the Archangels came along. He gazes back at Gabriel angrily. Gabriel continues to stare at him, listening, tilting his head as Andrew continues. The warehouse he robbed a few weeks ago. All that cocaine you stole. His eyes grow angry as rage slowly envelops him. I was supposed to guard it. I was wondering whose it was. Gabriel gives Andrew a nod as he rises from his kneeling position into a dominating stature standing in front of him. Don't worry about trying to get it back. I burnt it all, he plainly says. Andrew looks at him. His anger turns into a complete look of disbelief. You what? So, the cartels now want you dead, Gabriel asks. Yes, Andrew says, looking down in despair. They said if I didn't have the cocaine back yesterday, I'd be dead. So, let me get this clear. The cartels were after you, and so are we. So, you decide to go to the most secure tower in Chicago and hide there? Gabriel turns his back on Andrew and begins taking a few steps away from him. I knew the cartels wouldn't dare follow me. They weren't stupid enough to mess with the Corps, Andrew says as Gabriel stops and turns around to look at him. I thought you'd do the same. And yet, here we are, Gabriel says. You compared brutes to tacticians. I admit I was stupid enough to take the risk. But I wasn't stupid enough to go in there without a plan. I always expect the unexpected. Gabriel walks back towards him. You have no idea how much money I've had to invest in that single meeting room, Andrew says with a smirk. Blast-proof doors, reinforced ballistic windows, private security guarding you from entrance to exit. Must have cost you a fortune, Gabriel chuckles. And yet, here you are. He coldly stares, gesturing at his condition, tied up to the chair.
Just answer me one more thing.
Gabriel walks over to Andrew.
Why didn't the Don defend you? Isn't he supposed to be your stepbrother? He asks.
Andrew chuckles. I thought the same. But when the cartel wants you dead, not even the outfit can protect you.
And so you went to the corp,
Gabriel says, holstering his pistol behind his back.
So the cartel are running the show, are they?
We have a deal, yeah. Andrew sighs. They supply us with drugs. We sell them here and give the profit back to them, while we keep some of it.
And now they want to kill you and the Don?
No. Just me. Andrew looks down to the ground.
Well, luckily we got to you before the cartel did.
Gabriel chuckles as he picks up the phone on his thigh and checks the time.
Anything else you can tell me?
Gabriel asks. I don't know anything else, man. Gabriel almost instantly pulls out his karambit from thin air and slices Andrew's tie clean off in a single swift blur of emotion. Andrew jolts back in surprise and stares at Gabriel in horror as his tie slides down his shirt and onto the floor below him. Oh, holy shit. Andrew freezing in position.
Are you sure you don't know anything else, Andy?
Gabriel asks, folding the karambit back into his pocket. They put a bounty on you, Andrew says.
I know that already. 500,000, right?
Gabriel says, crossing his arms. They upped the number to $1 million. Gabriel raises his head in curiosity, possibly in approval.
Glad to know they want to kill us so badly.
He chuckles as he cautiously pulls out his pistol and checks the magazine. You stole our coke, killed our soldiers, robbed our business. He turns his gaze from Gabriel to you. How did you think we were going to react?
Sit down and take it,
he sarcastically remarks.
You're doing good so far with the cartels holding a stick up your ass.
We had no choice.
Of course you did. You always have a choice.
Gabriel turns around and walks over to the door. Not with the cartels. They offered us a deal we couldn't refuse, Andrew defends.
If you had, you'd be dead. I'd know.
He knocks on the door. So... No, sorry, I can't do the Gabriel voice. I don't know why.
Though, if you had, you wouldn't be here right now, would you?
The door opens up and Raquel walks in, and immediately beelines straight towards Andrew. She pulls out her knife and readily holds it at her side as she takes a stand in front of him.
Cut off his tongue and send it to the Don. Let's hope he's smart enough to get the message,
Gabriel says, gesturing you to follow him as he walks through.
And for God's sakes, Raquel, kill him first.
Wait, don't! Andrew shouts out desperately.
Why?
Gabriel stops by the doorway and turns around.
Is there something else you know?
Andrew stares back at him, trying his best to come up with something to save himself. The bounty. Someone picked it up yesterday.
I know. Who the hell would deny a $1 million bounty on me?
Gabriel chuckles.
Anything else?
He tilts his head in curiosity. Andrew only stares back at him at a loss for words. Gabriel nods to Raquel, and Raquel nods back. She raises her knife towards Andrew's neck as he desperately tries to pull away. Wait, please. He turns to you with a gaze of hope, which slowly trickles away as he waits for either his impending doom or your mercy. Whew. I don't remember doing Michael or Gabriel's voice, taking out so much of me so early. All right. Raquel's hand. Whew. You reach and grab Raquel's hand with your gloved hand and stop her. The knife moves a few inches towards Andrew's neck, pushing the blade against his neck. She turns to you curiously. You turn and see Gabriel also looking at you curiously. You can't tell if they approve or disapprove by your notion, since their mask hides most of their expression. But you can tell Gabriel is very curious as his eyes scan you. Andrew looks to you with an explosion of relief. He sighs and smiles as he looks at you full of help. Thank you. Meeting at the tower. What was it for? It was mostly questions they had about me, Andrew says. Why were they questioning you? Gabriel asks. It was part of our deal. I pay them for protection. They get to ask me anything. Andrew answers hesitantly. They had me strapped up to a lie detector. I told them everything they wanted to know. What did they ask? They knew I was with the outfit. They asked what we were up to. The Dawn, the cartels. You told them about the cartels? Gabriel asked, cutting his sentence. Yes, it was the first thing they asked. They asked why I needed the protection. I told them that both you and the cartels are looking for me. Andrew says, looking from Gabriel to Raquel to you. The court knows about us? You ask him. They do. He turns to Gabriel. They even know who you are, Andrew says, to which Gabriel responds by pulling out his pistol and pointing it at Andrew's face. Sorry, someone just texted me. I apologize, I'm just getting rid of it. Alright. Andrew turns away and tries to back out as he shouts, but they never told me. You know they won't tell anyone. Gabriel walks closer to him and pushes the end of the suppressor of his pistol onto Andrew's temple. How did they know? I don't know. I promise you, I don't know. He said, hopelessly looking away from the barrel of his pistol. The Corrigan, did you meet her? You see Gabriel pushing his pistol aggressively against Andrew's head. You haven't seen him this emotionally aggressive before. I didn't. Nobody meets with the Corrigan unless there's someone special. Not even the Dawn can meet her. I don't even know she's in Chicago. He desperately tries to defend himself. Gabriel slowly but surely calms down. He pulls his pistol away from his head and holsters it before walking back towards the open door. Well, I'm gonna need to see her soon anyway. He stops and looks to you with curiosity, wanting to see what you do. Said Don, what's he doing? I don't know where he is, he says hesitantly. That's not what I asked. I asked what he's doing, not where is he. You explain to him. Well, that's the problem. I haven't seen him in days. He looks to you, then Gabriel. That explains why none of my spies... Oh, God, have had any success in trying to find him. Gabriel sighs as he gazes towards the roof of the room. So the Dawn has gone into hiding? Or did he just disappear? He's called for a lockdown of the compound. Nobody gets in or out with his permission. Not even me. Not after you stole the shipment of cocaine from the warehouse, Andrew says to himself before looking towards Gabriel with despise. Gabriel stares back at him with an emotionless stare. I see. I guess I'll have to smoke him out, he says, looking to you curiously, awaiting your reaction. The cartels you mentioned. Which ones? My guess is the Unity cartels, Los Unidad, the one based in Los Angeles? Gabriel says, looking towards Andrew for confirmation. Andrew nods. Yes, they're the ones looking for me right now. How many active members does the outfit have? Currently, he looks around, thinking and musing to himself. About 50,000 members. And slowly decreasing. Gabriel crosses his arms. Yeah, Andrew chuckles. Thanks to you. You're welcome, Gabriel nods. The bounty. Who picked it up? I don't know. The Dawn picked them personally, Andrew says nervously. Oh, there's only a few organizations I know who will take $1 million to try and take me down. Which ones are these from? Gabriel asks. They're not from any organization. They're independent. Independent, huh? That narrows it down to a handful of people, Gabriel says, scratching the side of his ski mask. I don't know who they are, but I know they mean business. They didn't even hesitate when we told them you're an Archangel, Andrew says. Gabriel begins to think to himself, I think I know who's after me. If I'm right, I might be able to persuade them to leave us alone. He looks to you, waiting for you to continue. How much was a single room in Vam Tower? I had to spend half my fortune on it. 1,500,000 a day, Andrew says with a chuckle. It was the most expensive room they had, with the high security measures they have available. And yet, here you are, Gabriel chuckles. Andrew smirks and gazes at Gabriel. They told stories about you and Michael. You know? The Red Smile and the Golden Saint. The Archangels that took over New York City, overthrowing the five families within weeks. Took over the state of New York a couple of months later. What the hell are you all up to? Wouldn't you like to know? Gabriel crosses his arms. I'd stay here and monologue my evil plan, but frankly, I know you're too stupid to understand. Try me, Andrew says. Gabriel stares at him, scanning his facial expression and body for a good few seconds before answering. No, thank you. Why are we killing him? You ask Gabriel. Because he's killed hundreds of innocent civilians and has been spreading drugs all around Chicago, like a hooker spreading STDs. That, and I want to send a message to the Dawn, Gabriel says. But I can relay your message to him, Andrew says. Yes, but it'd be much more of a convincing message if you were dead, Gabriel says, looking to you for a reaction. Stare back at Gabriel. Stare back at Gabriel, who looks to you inquisitively, but amazingly, almost immediately understands your intention. He looks over to Andrew. Sorry. You stare back at Gabriel, who looks at you inquisitively, but amazingly, almost immediately understands your intentions. He looks over to Andrew, scanning him from head to toe. Andrew freezes in position, confused and terrified as to what his fate may be. Raquel continues to hold the knife against his neck, but she slowly pulls away from him. Raquel, Gabriel says as Raquel quickly pulls away and holsters her knife. Gabriel walks up to Andrew, past Raquel, who's walking backwards toward the door, and says, "My partner's naivety has saved you. You might want to consider a new occupation." Andrew looks over to you and with a relieved smile on his face, Thank you so much." Gabriel looks to Raquel and nods. "Take his left middle finger. Send it to the Dawn. That'll be a good enough message." Ah, crap. Oh, sorry, I couldn't save all of you, bud. Raquel nods and walks over to Andrew once more. Wait, what? Gabriel looks to you and beckons you to follow. "And please, sedate him first." He turns to Raquel. You walk over to Gabriel, who's already on his way out of the room. You turn and you see Raquel pulling out a syringe and plunges it into Andrew, just as he's about to react. What's that? Wait. Don't. Please. He slowly falls unconscious, tied to the chair. You walk over to Gabriel, who's already on his way out. You turn and you see Raquel pulling out a syringe. Oh, wait, whoops, sorry. God, I'm losing my track. "Come on. If what he says is true, we'll have company soon," Gabriel says to you as you walk out of the door, leaving Raquel to do her work on Andrew. You and Gabriel walk over to the broken sofa in the other room, and he gestures for you to take a seat in front of the ammo box. You do so. "Grab some ammo. We may or may not have company." He nods towards the ammo box as he pulls out his own empty rifle magazines and begins refilling them with rounds. You pull out your weapon and begin loading up on ammo. Gabriel looks to you as he fills his magazine and says, "You're doing good so far. No one here has ever raided that Vancorp Tower and lived to tell this tale. That's an actual accomplishment you can brag about." "You can actually brag about." He chuckles. And just as Gabriel finishes reloading his magazine, Raquel walks out of the other room, white gloved hands covered in blood. "Are you done?" Gabriel asks. Raquel nods. "All right, I need you to get him to the mill as soon as possible. Send him to the outfit tomorrow, and release the rest of him the day after," Gabriel says. Raquel nods in understanding, then walks over to Gabriel and puts her hand on his shoulder, gazing down at him. Gabriel nods. "Kits and I will stay here. You and Andrew need to get to the mill as quickly as possible." Raquel continues to hold Gabriel's shoulder, gazing from his mask to the blood that stained most of his suit and body armor. She stares at him intently. Gabriel says, "I'll be fine, Raquel. Please, get to the mill." Raquel continues with her emotionless gaze, seemingly in a mental conversation with him. It goes on for a minute, and you sit there in front of them, waiting awkwardly. "I'll get you a tuna sandwich from McDonald's," Gabriel says, and Raquel almost instantly lets go of his shoulder and walks back into the other room. Gabriel sighs and looks back at you. "You hungry?" he asks, pulling out his phone. "'Cause we're gonna be here a while." He dials a number, a very short one. Then he puts the phone to his ear and leans back on the couch, lifting one leg over the other, relaxing. A few seconds later, you hear someone answering. Hello, McDonald's. I'd like to place an order, please, he says, relaxing, gazing through the glassless window. Yeah, I'm at, he looks around for a second. 1214 West Madison Street, West Side. He looks over at you and says, you want anything? Try to mentally picture the McDonald's menu. Though it's mainly common sense that there's bound to be burgers and fried chicken, there's also other items on the menu you can remember. What would you like to order? A Big Mike. Big Mike. Oh, chicken nuggets, nougats. Hell yeah, brother. I'd like a double royal cheeseburger, extra cheese. I'd also like a tuna sandwich and a chicken nuggets. Yes, I'd like a lemon tea, please. He looks around the room as he continues talking. All right, thank you. How much will that be? All right, thanks. Have a good day. He hangs up. A few moments later, Raquel comes out of the room with Andrew, who walks right by you, not even taking a glance. She pulls him past you as the two of them start walking towards the stairs. As the two of them walk towards the stairs. Oh, Raquel, could you please wait at the corner of the block? Gabriel says as Raquel passes by without stopping, nor looking at him. They're delivering it around the block, to the east. He pulls out a couple of bills. Can't quite tell how much. Then he crumples them and tosses them to Raquel. Raquel glances over and catches them before walking out with Andrew. Thank you, Gabriel says, and closing the door behind him. You can take off your mask now, he says. He tells you, reaching for his own mask. Your mind rushes with anticipation, hoping to see the face that's been hiding behind that mask ever since you met him. You can almost imagine what he looks like. As he raises his mask, he's still wearing the ski mask beneath it. He feels somewhat disappointed, but he looks at you with a smirk and chuckles, staring at you with his calming, light blue eyes. Sorry to tease you, but it never gets old. He starts to disassemble his bulky body armor. Don't take off the mask. Decide to keep it on. Gabriel continues to disassemble his bulky body armor. You can see it's littered with bullet holes where they hit the Kevlar and metal plates. With the amount of damage the armor has taken, you're guessing that Gabriel would be dead if it wasn't for the vest. You can see blood slowly pouring underneath the vest as he takes it off, revealing the blood-soaked three-piece suit and blue tie. Even though the armor stopped a few of the bullets around the chest area, some of them went through and pierced through Gabriel's suit. He's wounded badly, but he seems perfectly calm. Wonder how he's so conscious. He takes off the armor and leaves it on the couch, and then leans back and takes a breather. Can't feel a damn thing in this vest. He taps a shot of body armor, but it has saved my life more than a few times. This is one of the very few times where you can actually see his lips move when he talks. How are you still alive? I actually don't know, he says, chuckling. You can see that. You can see that when he chuckles, more blood pools beneath his clothes. He groans a little, then continues to chuckle. I haven't counted since a few years ago, but I know I've taken more than twice as many bullets as the number of years I've been alive. Does it hurt? You ask him as you scan the wound around his body, the blood marking each place a bullet may or may not be inside. You can see from the body armor that blood has almost been pooling on the back of his armored vest. Like I said, I couldn't feel a damn thing. He sighs and groans, but chuckles soon after. Now that it's off, it's all beginning to sting. He smirks. Take out the first egg and patch him up. You pull out your first aid kit and rise from the couch. Gabriel immediately puts his hands up and says, No, it's all right. I'll be fine. You ignore him and walk around the table. He stares at you curiously as you take a knee beside him. He chuckles as you put your hands onto his warm, blood-soaked shirt. You feel the ripples of torn flesh beneath the shirt, and he winces as you feel around the wounds. At least you're a lot gentler than Raquel, he says. You remember that Raquel works crudely, but efficiently. He begins to close his tie, to loosen his tie, and you unbutton his shirt from top to bottom. He looks at you, light blue eyes gripping your gaze curiously, with a smirk across his lips, letting out a hiss as the cloth pulls away from the wounds. Are you sure you know how to use that thing? You finish unbuttoning his shirt, revealing the undershirt, and even more the wounds littering his body. Some of them are already bandaged, but others are actually still bleeding, held back only by the undershirt. He pulls a small titanium flask from his suit jacket, opens it, and takes a swig before putting it back. Where'd you learn to bake? In Syria, oddly enough, he says, grabbing his FNC rifle and laying it down on his lap, caressing it like his pet cat. What were you doing there? I can't tell you the details, but I met this English teacher in Syria. She lost her son and daughter in a bombing raid. She swore revenge, but didn't have any training, or any weapons at all, and the rebels wouldn't give her one because she was a woman. He clutches on to the foregrip of his rifle and smiles. I gave her my old sniper rifle, an FAL, and taught her how to use it. She was so excited to learn, and in return, she taught me how to bake. He lifts the rifle to his arms and pulls the bolt back, inspecting the chamber. Where is she now? You ask. She's now the most feared mother in all of Syria, fighting for her life, her country, and what she believes in. He sets the rifle across and leans back onto the couch in front of you. In return, she taught me how to bake the most delicious vanilla goodies in the world. I hope to see her again one day, see how she's doing. He smiles as he stares off towards the window. You prepare your kit and begin using the tweezers to carefully pull out some of the bullets and set them down on the table. A few minutes later, the door opens, and Gabriel almost immediately pulls out his pistol and aims it at the door. And you almost do the same, but you stop when you realize that it's just Raquel. Good God, do you not knock? Gabriel sighs, holstering his pistol. Raquel walks over to the two of you and puts a plastic bag of McDonald's onto the table. She digs into the plastic bag and pulls out a large soda and a wrapped tuna sandwich before quickly turning around and walking back out the door. Hey, you're not gonna walk, Gabriel says as Raquel walks out of the door. Okay, you're gone. He sighs as he opens the plastic bag and pulls out a large burger. There you are. Beautiful. He opens the wrappings, revealing the delicious and juicy McDonald's Royal with melted cheese. Then he takes a bite. You dig into the bag for your own order and you pull out your plastic package of deliciously fried chicken nuggets. You open the package and begin munching on the crispy chicken nuggets. Gabriel munches on his double royal with cheese as he looks at you, waiting for you to say or ask something. Who's hunting us? I don't know. I don't exactly know. But I have to guess. But I have a guess. He says, if I'm right, I might be able to persuade them to let us go. He turns around and looks towards the door that leads into the room. No one knows who they are, but they go by the names Rook and Bishop. Why not just kill them? You ask. One, I know them, and they probably know me. Two, that would be quite difficult. We know each other because we were trained by the same people.
He looks at his FNC assault rifle, resting beside the couch. Who are you trained by? You ask. I can't say, but what I can say. He looks back at you. If you know how good I am, those who train me were the masters at what they do. He leans forward, grabs his burger, and takes a bite. Who are Rook and Bishop? They're two of the most expensive, efficient, and possibly the craziest duo of assassins I know. Those two are plain insane. In a good way. He grabs his cup of lemon iced tea and takes a sip. You pull out your alcohol swab and begin cleaning the empty wounds, trying your best to close them. He hisses as you do, but this is helpless to tell you not to. You know, I would have asked for some painkillers, but I can't afford to be drowsy right now. Who are the cartels? Oh, whoops. I accidentally misclicked. Why did you want to kill Andrew? A lot of reasons, really. He stares at you, scanning your face. He was the one who ordered the bounty on me. He ordered the robbery of a bank in South Chicago, where 3 innocent civilians were shot dead just because they glanced at the robbers. You think that other 2 would have learned not to do that? Why would Andrew do that? He's Don Lavadecchi's stepbrother. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. The bank denied his application for insurance, so he responded by ordering a team of 6 to rob it. He didn't even care about the money, he just wanted to shoot the place up. He smirks as he leans back. I want to make sure he never does so again. He leans forward, grabs his burger, and takes a bite. Finish cleaning the wounds, then you take out the bandages and begin applying them. You wrap one around his stomach. You try to get it around behind him, but he picks up the bandage and does it for you. How'd you know Andrew was in the tower? I have my spies. He smirks as he glances out at the window. She was working at the time and saw what appears to be someone who looks like the person I was looking for. And was, at the time, stoned off his ass on marijuana. Who was the spy? I can't tell you. I can say that she immediately called me and told me what she saw. I trusted her and immediately went to the tower, cased the place with Michael, went back and planned the kidnapping. He says. He grabs his cup of lemon tea and takes a sip. You finish with the bandage and he nods to you. Thank you. Archangel will suture them shut when I'm finally back at the mill. He begins unbuttoning his shirt, and you help him. He reassembles his 3-piece suit and thanks you for the help. Where are the cartels? The Los Angeles cartel. Los Unidad, the Trinity. Call it whatever you want. I've been suspecting them to be the arms and drug supplier for the outfit, but now I've realized that they've been controlling the outfit too. He leans forward and grabs his burger and takes a bite. Good God, this is delicious. What are you planning to do about it? You ask. Well, I don't know yet. Me and Michael will have to talk about this first. He'll make a decision and I'll probably argue with him about it. Then we'll eventually come to a middle ground and make another, totally different decision. Why do you 2 argue? We have different approaches. He's more the efficient, cold, and calculating type of person. I'm the more merciful type, Gabriel replies. He takes his cup of lemon tea and a toast and takes a sip. How did Raquel pay for the McDonald's? She didn't. She used Andrew's money. Did he have money? He was at Van Tower, high off his ass on weed. He probably had something in his pockets. You and Gabriel finish your meal, then you continue to wait for, at the very least, another half an hour. Nothing much happens as Gabriel throws the McDonald's trash into the garbage can outside and reassembles his body armor. He walks around the room, casually pacing back and forth in his armor, scanning for weak spots and vantage points inside the room. Finally, he walks to the window and gazes out the empty street below. I never thought I'd make it to Chicago, you know? He says with his back to you, gazing out the window. Honestly, I never thought I'd survive being Gabriel at all. Come to think of it, it's a wonder how he's even still alive with all those wounds he's carrying around. I wonder what's taking them so long. I mean, it's not like we're hiding. He sighs and scans the surroundings outside the building through the window. Did you hear that? He freezes in place, staring out the window. You hear it too. You listen closer, and you can hear the sounds of footsteps slowly walking up a flight of stairs. You hear the footsteps coming to a stop in front of the door to the room. You look to Gabriel and see him slowly pulling his pistol out of the holster, strapped to the side of his thigh. But then, bang! A giant shot crackles through the room as Gabriel's vest explodes in a puff of smoke from in front and behind. Gabriel falls back onto the floor, eyes staring up at the ceiling, surprised. Now he can see the gaping bullet hole in the middle of his vest. Gabriel opens his mouth to say something, but he doesn't appear to have any air left in his lungs to push out the words. He rolls over onto the ground and quickly tries to get back up. He immediately raises his pistol and points it at the door. Just then, the door to the room swings open, revealing a man, tall and athletic in build, face disguised beneath a dark red balaclava, wearing a black leather jacket and shirt under a tactical harness, holding magazine pouches. His bright green eyes lock onto yours as he rushes inside, rifle pointed directly at you. But he freezes as soon as he sees Gabriel, who already has his pistol trained on him. Well, shit. Put down the gun, Gabriel says, cocking the hammer of his pistol. No, you put down the gun, the man says mockingly, still aiming his rifle at you. You hear a very thick Spanish, or maybe Mexican accent in his voice. I said, put it down. Gabriel groans in pain, slowly rising from the floor as he clutches the front of his chest in pain, the blood slowly seeping through his fingers, carefully staying under the window. No, thanks. How about we introduce ourselves? He says, looking to you. No need. I know who you are, Rook, Gabriel says as he rises from his crouching position away from the window. Oh, really? Rook cocks his head side to side, his head to the side. Perhaps you've heard of me. First name Hitherto, last name Kickass. I know it's you, Solo, and Hector. It is Hector out there, right? Or did you get a new partner? Gabriel asks, still pointing his pistol at him cautiously. Rook immediately turns and points his rifle at him, the two of them locking in a staring contest as they try to figure out what's going on in each other's brains. Rook quietly puts his hands up over his ear and taps it. Bishop, you missed. He didn't. Gabriel taps the hole in the middle of his vest, but you can now see is drooling out blood. Hombre, you're shot in the chest. How are you still standing? Rook frustratingly points his outstretched finger at Gabriel's wound. Never mind that. Tell me, how did you know my name? He lowers his rifle and pulls out a pistol in frustration. The pistol is nothing like you've ever seen before. It's like an M1911, but it has two barrels side by side. He points it right at Gabriel's face as he awaits his reply. The two of them are currently locked in a stalemate at gunpoint. Perhaps he should try and break it. Easy enough, pull out the shoddy bang bang and smile. Pull out your weapons, and just as you do so, Rook looks at you and says, Oh, come on. That's just not fair. Rook, tell Bishop to stand down. It's me, Gabriel says, lowering his pistol. Saying it's me doesn't give much in the way of information. Rook says, Rook, you know me, you know my partner, you know my voice. Gabriel says, lowering his pitch. You know my voice. Oh, God, do I have to go even lower? Rook stares at Gabriel for a few seconds, pistol still aimed at his face. Whatever it is you're trying to do, it ain't working, esse. Rook, believe me when I tell you that you won't be getting out of here alive if you pull that trigger, Gabriel says as he walks around Rook, towards his mask on his table. Gabriel grabs the mask and puts it on, then stares at Rook with his red smiley. Whoa, that's creepy, Rook says sarcastically. Listen, Pennywise, I don't want to kill you, Rook says, slowly lowering his pistol. But I have to. That and $1,000,000 is a lot of money, Rook sighs. I can give you 10 times that amount if you just listen to me, Gabriel says. The outfit wants you dead, and so does the cartel. If I back out on this, they'll hunt me down. Rook reluctantly raises his pistol and points it at Gabriel again. Gabriel sighs and shakes his head. We're planning on taking them down. The outfit and the cartel? Rook begins to laugh. You don't know if he's faking it or if he's actually laughing uncontrollably. Good luck. I certainly don't want to take any chances. I do. Help me take them down, and you won't have to worry about them, Gabriel says, raising his hands and slowly holstering his pistol. Rook stares at Gabriel for a few seconds, contemplating everything with his pistol still pointed at him, before finally he gives an apologetic sigh. Madre, perdóname. He reluctantly pulls the hammer back and aims down the sight at Gabriel's head. Quickly, do something. Rook, please don't. He stares at Gabriel for a few seconds, angry, confused, and nervous. Tell Bishop to stand down. Rook, it's me. Gabriel slowly turns his pistol and shows Rook the side of it. Just now you realize that there's an engraving on the grip that says 12. That pistol, where did you get it? Rook says accusingly. I own this pistol. No, you don't. Whoever owned that thing is dead, Rook says, angrily pointing his gun at Gabriel, though you can tell there's a hint of recognition and confusion in his eyes. I am dead. Remember, Gabriel cocks his head to the side, continues to stare at Gabriel intensely, slowly lowering his pistol. Holy shit. You're alive. Dead, yeah. Rook lowers his pistol. He taps his ear and says, Bishop, stand down and come over here. We've been chasing a ghost. Gabriel sighs in relief as he holsters his pistol. Thank you, Solo. Don't thank me yet. We're still gonna have to take down the outfit and the cartels. How exactly are you going to achieve that? I have a plan. And I now have the entire Los Unidad cartel in my ass, Rook sighs. Don't worry. I have everything planned out, Gabriel explains. Doesn't it involve the Don and the cartel boss dying? Rook asks. Yes. Then I'm listening. Rook finally lowers his pistol and holsters it. He pulls off his dark red balaclava, revealing short dark brown, wavy and unkempt hair, and a strong triangular jaw and a confident smile. Where's Bishop? Gabriel asks. He'll be here. All right. So, what's the plan? Rook stops and taps his ear. I'm here, Bishop. What's going on? Shit. He looks out the window. Cops are just around the corner. Gabriel pulls out his pistol. Shit, I forgot I needed to get the hell out of here. Well, we can help you with that. Rook smirks at you and Gabriel. Bishop got us to a vantage point. Bishop, get up to a vantage point. I'm coming out. Cover us. He quickly rushes to the door. Gabriel looks at you and says, Come on, we need to get to the mill. He takes one step towards the door and almost immediately falls to his knees, grunting in pain. Ah, damn it. He clutches his chest. What's wrong? Rook turns around. Oh shit. Right, sorry about that. You can yell at Bishop later. He rushes over and picks Gabriel up, one arm around his shoulders. Gabriel groans his pain as he's lifted up to his feet. He readies his pistol and says, Let's get out of here. You grab Ronald ray gun and the AR-15. Shooty, bang, bang, and smile. Your two Beretta M9 pistols and your ammo, then follow Gabriel out of the room. Rook and Gabriel rush out the door. The three of you run down the stairs, and as soon as you reach the ground floor, you hear sirens blaring in the distance. Rook stops by the door and turns back to you and Gabriel. Gabriel, can you stand? I sure hope so. Gabriel nods, holding onto the railing on the wall beside him. Okay, Bishop. He turns his ear. He taps his ear. Cover me as we run down the street. He looks at Gabriel. What's your pickup? We don't have one. Gabriel shrugs. I expected you to have a vehicle. I do. He taps his ear. Bishop, we're headed for the van. He looks back at Gabriel. All right, follow me. He opens the door and runs out onto the street. You and Gabriel rush out of the door. He limps out after you, exhausted and in pain. You look around the street and you see a police cruiser drifting around the corner to the right, heading straight towards you. Rook stops in the middle of the street, aims his AR-15 rifle and opens fire at the cop car. His shot cracks through the windshield and punches through the hood into the engine. The cruiser swerves to the side, jumps onto the sidewalk, and crashes into a mailbox, sending it flying through the air before the car comes to a stop onto the steps of the apartment building. Rook looks back at you and Gabriel and shouts, Come on, he's just south of here. Gabriel cradles his rifle and dashes down the street beside you before he trips over something and falls to the ground, grunting in pain. He tries helplessly to pull himself back up. You hear his breath growing heavier. Hey you, Rook shouts at you. Pick him up and run. Suddenly, bullets crackle past you as the cops fire back from behind cover. You quickly duck and grab onto Gabriel. Rook groans in pain as the bullet goes through his leg. Ah, pendejos! He shouts as he fires back at the cops, prompting them to pull back behind cover. The two of you rush across the street to the other side, just as another police cruiser rushes around the corner to your left. Puta madre! Keep running, go! Rook looks around, aims his rifle at the cruiser, and opens fire. The cruiser swerves and dodges out of the way, then comes to a halt in the middle of the street. The driver's door opens facing away from the hail of bullets flying at them. The driver hops out and you see him taking cover just out of view behind the engine block. Bang! The shot rings out of nowhere and his head explodes. The body goes limp and falls beside the cruiser. Nice shot, B, Rook says, tapping his ear. He turns to you and Gabriel and follows you down the street. He runs past you and Gabriel with a limp and leads you to an alleyway, blood dripping down from his leg. Come on, he's just down here, he says as the three of you rush into the alleyway. Down the alleyway, you spot what appears to be the back of a dark gray van. As you get closer to it, you see a logo on the side that says, Taco Roco, Taco Delivery, with a picture of a taco set ablaze beside it. Rook limps around the back of the van and hops into the driver's seat as you and Gabriel open the back door and hop into the empty cargo compartment. Gabriel lays down on the metal floor of the van, letting out a sigh of relief followed by a grunt of pain. You hold on to the walls as the van reverses out of its parking spot and down a three-point turn. It does a three-point turn before driving out of the alley. All right, act natural, Gabriel says as he pulls off his mask and starts taking off his tactical vest. He taps his ear and says, Bishop, be ready, I'm heading your way. Rook drives the van onto the street. As he does, he looks into the rearview mirror to catch Gabriel's gaze before saying, So, who's your new partner? He looks to you and puts out a hand for you to shake. The name's Rook. Hits. Shake his hand. As you shake his hand and say her name, he smirks and says, Pleasure to meet you, Kits. As the van drives around a corner, about a few blocks down from the road, you see a tall, bulky man standing on the side of the road, carrying a Macmillan TAC 338 sniper rifle. He's wearing a dark blue balaclava and the same all-black uniform as Rook has. He waits calmly as Rook drives up to him. Then he walks over to the front passenger seat. Excuse me, citizen. You got a license for that rifle? Rook says. The man opens the door and gets into the front passenger seat before closing it. He takes a look back at Gabriel, who's grasping the wound in his chest. I thought we were supposed to kill him. Not. Oh, God, I'm doing such a horrible job. I'm sorry. I thought we were supposed to kill him, not be his personal ambulance. You hear a slightly posh British accent. Okay, first of all, what the hell is a posh British accent? I gotta know. One second, posh British accent. Posh. Ah, hell, I guess I'll just have to walk or read it later. Or, yeah, watch the videos later, because these things are like 8 minutes. Holy golly gee. Apart. Sorry. God, I really want to know what the hell a posh... Alright, give me a sec. I apologize. Just give me... Let me see English. Okay, so I guess it's just that classy tally-ho type of British accent, goddamn. Oh, hell. I don't know if I can do that. Well, I gotta try, so let me try to figure out how to do a goddamn posh British accent. I say, I am the King of England. I'm trying to get into character. Say, I am the King of England. I am the King of England. My name is Simon Pegg, and I'm a British actor. I speak with a posh British accent. Okay, is that good enough? Oh, Christ. Alright, well, I hope I don't burn in hell for this one. Because goddamn am I butchering this. Oh, God, forgive me. I thought we were supposed to kill him. Oh, God, why does it keep switching to Australian? I'm sorry. I thought we were supposed to kill him, not to be his personal ambulance, the man says in a near monotone. You hear a slight posh British accent. Bishop Gabriel Bishop, Kits Bishop Kits. Hello, Hector, Gabriel says. How does he know my name? Oh, I know who I should think of it. What's his name? James May, the chef. My name is James May. Like, comment, and subscribe. comment, and subscribe. A sugar sandwich. Sugar sandwiches, yada yada yada. Okay, I think I got it. How does he know my name? Oh, goddamn. Wrong person, sorry. How does he know my name? Bishop says in his monotone voice as he pulls a pistol from his holster. Whoa, holster it, hermano. He knows both of us. He's one of us. Well, he used to be, Rook says as he continues to drive down the street. What do you mean, one of us? Bishop asks. I remember you, Hector. Your mentor, Baron. He's a good friend of mine, Gabriel says. Hector stares at Gabriel for a few seconds as he tries to piece things together in his mind. You're supposed to be dead. I technically still am, Gabriel says as he rests his head back down on the metal floor. I'm sorry I shot you, Bishop says, taking off his mask, revealing jet black hair and a square jaw with an emotionless face. If you think Gabriel's mask was hard to read, this guy doesn't let anything out for anyone to read. Don't worry. You missed my heart by a few centimeters. I think, Gabriel says as he slowly closes his eyes. Rook, take us to North Bowery Street. There's an abandoned mill. Wake me up when we're there. The ride is mostly silent, with the occasional banter between Rook taking random selfies, with Gabriel in the background and Bishop trying to take away his phone. Whew. Alright, let me take a short break, sip of water, rest the vocal cords. Oh, man. Man. Alright. Let's just let the clock run to 3:05 and then we'll continue. Alright then. Let's continue on. The mill, sometime in the evening. The sun has set, night has fallen, and the road to the mill is eerily quiet and empty. Considering it's located in a somewhat abandoned neighborhood, you wouldn't really expect much traffic. It's mostly shady people walking around. No one dares to stroll the streets of this part of Chicago at night. So this is where you've been hanging out? Rourke says, looking over his shoulder. You're a bit in the bad part of Chicago, you know. He chuckles as he continues driving. Bishop keeps to himself for the most part. He doesn't exactly talk much, except to argue with Rourke. Chicago isn't that bad. Chicago isn't that bad, Bishop says. Oh, I know. I said the bad part of Chicago, not the whole damn city. He looks back to you. Say, why did you pick here, of all places? I mean, seriously, you couldn't have picked a less stereotypical bad guy layer? Don't listen to him. He just likes to talk a lot, Bishop says, slight sighing in annoyance. I mean, seriously. Warehouse-type building. Check. Old. Check. Abandoned. Check. Has the word "the" in front of the name. Check. All I need now is a butler and a literal shark tank. Rook says. In the distance, you see the mill. The lights are up, but you guess it's intentional. When you reach the gate, Rook stops the car, and since you have the keys, you hop out. You unlock the chain on the gate, and as you're about to open it, you spot someone running towards you from the mill. A familiar, short, and slim figure. As the figure walks into the light from the van, you recognize him. It's Mouse. He waves at you as you pull out the metal gate open. As you... Oh, sorry. Rogue sneeze. He waves at you as you pull the metal gate open. Then he walks over and helps you. Kids, what happened? Are you okay? He asked worriedly. I'm fine, Mouse. Thank God you're okay, he says as he holds the metal gate open. The van drives past you and Rook waves at you and Mouse. So, do I park inside or leave it out here? Rook asks. You point them toward the loading bay, and Rook nods as he starts driving towards it. Who are they? Who are they? Goddamn. Oh, too many voices. It's all getting confused. Who are they? Mouse asks. Some friends. Okay. Mouse says as he closes the gate behind you and starts following you to the loading bay. Rook drives the van into the loading bay, where you see another familiar person, wearing a green mask with purple whiskers, casually typing away on her phone on the couch. It's Raquel. As soon as she lifts her head from the phone and sees the van, she hops off the couch and runs towards you with a small bag. You walk to the van as you see her rushing toward the back door. She opens it and pauses and takes a step back in surprise. You rush to her side, curious to see what startled her. Whoa, what's going on? Rook says as he and Bishop hop out. You look into the rear compartment of the van and you see what shocks you to the bone. Your heart skips a beat or two as you see Gabriel lying still in a pool of blood on the metal floor of the van's cargo compartment. He doesn't appear to be moving, and his chest isn't moving. Raquel takes a few steps back before running back to the office. And for a few seconds, as she rushes past you, you swear you can hear her whimpering. You wonder if his eyes are still open under that mask. He holds his permanent stare, smiling beneath his mask towards the roof of the van. He seems peaceful. One of his hands is holding onto his pistol tightly, while the other one is holding down the wound on his chest, which is completely soaked in blood. Well, fuck, Rook says as he walks over beside you and sees Gabriel. Is he dead? Bishop asks. Nah, he's probably alive and well. That's just ketchup coming out of his chest. Who's got fries? Rook asks. Oh, blimey. You hear Mouse come up beside you, eyes locked on Gabriel's body. Is he dead? I'm not really sure, but he's definitely not moving. He seems cold and he's definitely not breathing. Poke him. You walk up to his body and poke the side of his hockey mask. His head lays still, unmoving, so you decide to poke him further. No response. You don't think he's alive. Rook decides to join in and pokes the side of his stomach with the barrel of his rifle. He's probably just sleeping, Rook says. I mean, the credits haven't rolled yet, have they? Suddenly, Raquel pushes you aside and rushes to Gabriel. She seems to be carrying some sort of defibrillator and a yellow syringe with lettering on the side that says epinephrine. She quickly pulls apart his body armor, then buttons his shirt and removes his tie, revealing the blood-soaked suit and shirt beneath it. He's also wearing some sort of undershirt, probably the same kind that you're wearing, and probably the only thing that was keeping him alive on the journey here. For a few seconds, you swear you hear Raquel whimpering as she begins pulling up his mask, revealing the bottom half of his face. She suddenly pulls up her own mask, and for the second time, you can see her eyes and mouth as she appears to begin panicking, her eyes watering. She plants her mouth onto Gabriel's and begins what she guesses CPR. She pulls away and begins pushing on his chest with no response. She repeats this 3 times before she finally takes a syringe and jams it right into his chest through his undershirt. The liquid automatically injects itself into Gabriel, but it continues to lay still. Raquel throws away the empty syringe in frustration and turns on the defibrillator. She tears open apart the undershirt with what looks like claw-like fingernails, revealing Gabriel's chest. She lifts the pads of the defibrillator and applies one of them to the upper left side of his chest and the other just underneath the right armpit. She holds it there for a few seconds before you hear a loud beep. Gabriel's whole body jumps up as his eyes widen and his muscles contort. Ah! He screams as he wakes up and grabs onto Raquel's shoulder, squeezing it as he tries to regain his composure. And failing, he groans in pain as he slowly sets himself back down on the metal floor of the van. Good God. See, I told you he was fine, Brooke says with a nervous chuckle. Almost immediately, Raquel slaps Michael across... sorry. Almost immediately, Raquel slaps Gabriel across the face so hard it almost knocks him back into unconsciousness. Whoa, lady, just give the guy a break. He just died, Brooke says as Raquel hastily packs the defibrillator and storms out of the office with the defibrillator in her arms and anger in her steps. Gabriel stares at her as she walks off. Thank you, he says as he lowers his mask back down. He drops his leg over the side and takes a seat in the van with his legs dangling. He slowly leans to the side, tired and exhausted. He groans in pain and mumbles something to himself as he clutches his chest. God damn it, Brooke. Seriously, how are you alive? You got holes all over you. You look like a human sponge. Brooke smiles and chuckles nervously as he takes a seat beside Gabriel and pulls out a first aid kit from one of the pouches on his tactical harness, then begins patching up his own leg that's been shot a couple of times. He chuckles at the sight of the newly resurrected Gabriel. You're alive. Yeah, yes, I am. Gabriel turns to you. Thanks to you. Had you gotten me here any later, I would have been uncoverable, he says warmly, despite bleeding from his chest. He chuckles and turns to Bishop. Don't worry, I know you were just doing your job. You okay there, Pennywise? Brooke asks as he wraps a bandage around his wounded leg. I shot him in the chest through his bulletproof vest with a .300 Winchester Magnum. I'm surprised you're not dead yet, Bishop coldly says. You're making me look bad. Maybe you missed? Brooke shrugs. The only thing I missed was his heart, Bishop says. Gabriel chuckles and groans painfully as he leans against the side of the taco van. Well, you sure didn't miss me. You see him very slowly drooping forward. He grabs into the railing inside the van, trying to keep himself from falling over as the blood begins to pool beneath him. Holy shit. I can't feel anything. Try not to get shot up again. Gabriel chuckles and grunts painfully at your comment. No promises. Gabriel looks over to Rook and Bishop and says, You too. Thank you for not trying to kill us. Thank you for not dying, Rook says as he slams his palm on Gabriel's back. prompting Gabriel to cough out blood, which somewhat drools down his mask. Oh, shit. How do you sneeze in that thing? You don't want to know. Alright then, I'm sorry. I better get going. I need to clean out my safe house before anyone from the cartels or the outfit comes and, demands a refund. Rourke says, Yeah, you should. How should we contact you? Gabriel asks. I gave Keats my phone number. Rourke says. Wait, he did? You did? Yeah. Rourke says as he pulls out a phone and hands it over to you. Realize it's your phone. Here you go. Sorry I couldn't help myself. Rourke says with a smile. Did you find anything good in there? Nah, aside from 20 pictures of me. Rourke smiles. You take your phone and you make sure everything's in order. And sure enough, it's still the way you left it. Aside from the new entry in your contact book. And 20 new photos of Rourke casually taking selfies in the van. It occurs to you that he did all that while driving. He's a very good texter and phone user and driver. I'll be on my way now, Rourke says, bowing to you, both you and Gabriel. Give me a call if you need anything. He starts walking away. Oh, and you can keep the van. And try not to die next time, he shouts as he and Bishop stroll off to the gate. Gabriel sighs, leaning back against the wall of the van. I seriously need to stop getting shot. He groans in pain. You look behind you and see Raquel rushing over with what looks like a metal pole with an IV hanger. Like the ones you see in the hospitals, which hold up bags of blood and other liquids. You see there's a blood bag and a saline bag hanging from the top. Raquel walks past you, forcefully taking Gabriel's hand, and inserts the needles attached to the blood bag into the top of his hand. What's up, dude? She taps the needle in place and walks off again toward the table in front of the office. Gabriel slowly raises his hands and Gabriel slowly raises his hands and grabs onto the pole. He grunts in pain as he tries to pull himself up and out of the van, then starts walking towards Raquel with a limp. As soon as he takes the first step, his knees give in and he tumbles to the ground. You see his chest heaving as he pulls his mask up to gulp up more air. Shit, I can't breathe very well. Raquel quickly returns. Returs? I'm starting to think that maybe that's not a real word and that's a grammar error. Yep. Returns and grabs onto him, trying to pull him back up to his feet. He struggles to do so, but with a little help from Mouse, Gabriel manages to get back up again. Wow. Everything feels tilted. He chuckles, hiding his pain. He tries his best to walk normally, but fails. It's a wonder how he's even able to walk, despite leaving a trail of blood as he goes. He walks past you and Mouse, saying, Come on, I have something to say. You and Mouse look at each other and shrug before following behind Gabriel, who slowly walks to the table and couch in front of the office. It's a painfully long walk to the couch, but he eventually plops himself onto it with a groan, followed by a grunt. All right, so, he says as Raquel takes a pair of scissors and starts cutting the blood-soaked suit off of him. Thanks to our newest source of information, we now know that... Wait, where's Caden? Gabriel looks to Raquel. Raquel shrugs as she continues cutting him out of the suit. As she gets Gabriel's suit off, she sees the patchwork you have already done to him. She stares at Gabriel, and Gabriel stares back,
communicating as per usual. Before Gabriel replies, "Oh, Kits took out all the bullets after you left." He looks past Raquel to you and says, "Thank you for that." Raquel looks back and gives you a sharp, empty glare. She stares at you for a few seconds before nodding in gratitude. Nod back. She begins pulling away the bandages you applied as Gabriel chuckles a bit. Just then, you hear the gate opening and closing and the SUV drives into the loading bay of the mill. "Ah, there he is," Gabriel says, and out comes Caden, getting out of the driver's seat. Yeah. As soon as he sees Gabriel on the couch, he walks over with his mouth halfway open. "Holy shit, are you okay?" he asks as he comes to stand beside you. "I'm good." Gabriel waves off his concern. "You don't look good." "Jesus, what the hell happened after we left?" What nuts, wrong voice. We ran across a few friends," Gabriel says, gazing from Caden to you. "Thankfully, we took care of it." He looks back to Caden. "So, Caden, Kits, Edwin, please take a seat," he says as he leans back against the couch. You're surprised at the small amount of pain he's showing compared to the amount of wounds he has all over just the front of his torso. He merely hisses, chuckles, and groans, when he should be gasping for air, slowly losing consciousness and dying. "How are you still alive?" "Persistence and determination goes a long way," Gabriel says with a proud, permanent smile. "Anyway," he says as Raquel pulls out a tiny needle connected to a suture string and begins suturing the wound shut. Gabriel looks away and grunts in pain as she does so, but tries her best to maintain his composure. "Caden, I received news that the cartels are in control of the outfit," he says. Well, did you say when you recruited me that it was a possibility?" Caden replies, crossing his arms. "Well, that's all the way back in Los Angeles. What are they doing here?" "Drugs, mostly. The Alpha knew they couldn't refuse to cooperate with the cartels, unless they want two of them to get into a bloody war. The cartel knows this too, and now they have the outfit by the balls," Gabriel says. Caden nods in understanding, then looks around. "So, what's the plan?" "Right now, nothing's changed. We stick to the plan, but we're going to be doing it a little faster. I have to talk to Michael about this. He'll make the decision as to what we're going to do," Gabriel says as Raquel finishes suturing every single wound he has, then drops the needle into a metal tray, letting the blood dissolve in the alcohol. "All right, then. What now?" Caden asks as Raquel takes out a pack of antiseptic ointment, swabs, and begins cleaning the wounds. "Now we..." Gabriel grunts in pain as Raquel starts wiping the swab of antiseptic ointment all over the wound. We need to continue with the plan," Gabriel says, bracing himself through the pain. "What's the plan?" Caden asks. Gabriel thinks for a moment, staring off into the distance before he looks back at Caden. "Remember that armored van I was talking about?" "Yeah, you told me to come up with a plan for it 2 days ago." "It's going soon. We're going to make sure it won't reach its destination," Gabriel says. "I need you to get your crew together and intercept the van 3 days from now, around noon." "I can do that." Caden pulls out his phone and walks away. Gabriel looks to you and says, "Kits, you have one last job to do. I need you to case it, plan it, and execute it. You know the drill. If you remember correctly, you did the Velvet Cuts jewelry store. All you have to do now is the Southgate Mall ATMs." "The ATMs it is." "All right, then. Gabriel looks back and forth between you and Mouse. The ATM machines in the Southgate Mall are located on the second floor. You're gonna have to go in at night. Caden walks back over and says, you can take the SUV when you case it. You can go in loud or be as silent as you can. Gabriel continues, whatever you choose, I need you to case it tomorrow morning. Come back here as soon as you can. I have a few things I need you to do. Gabriel looks at you. What about the big bank in the loop? Gabriel stares off into the distance for a few seconds, contemplating. We're not exactly ready for it yet. I still have a bit more planning to do, and Michael hasn't decided what we should do about it yet. He says as Raquel begins wrapping his wounds with bandages. All right then. I'll come in tomorrow with a crew, Caden says. Then he walks off to his SUV. Gabriel nods as Raquel finishes wrapping a bandage around his chest. Now, if you'll excuse me. Raquel puts Gabriel's arm around her shoulder and begins helping him up off the couch. Raquel pulls him up and helps him stand, while Gabriel seems to be almost completely out of it, dangling his heavy head forward and quietly groans in pain. He looks over at you and nods. I'll see you all tomorrow. He begins limping across the room, almost dragging his feet as Raquel helps him swing around the door to the office, when suddenly his knees give and he stumbles. Raquel catches him and sets him down to the ground gently as you get closer, realizing that Gabriel is once again unconscious. You hear a very loud sigh of annoyance as Raquel goes to check Gabriel's pulse, then looks over at both you and Mouse and starts making hand gestures, trying to decipher her sign language. You try to decipher what she means as she gestures to you, signaling some sort of vehicle or something to punch or go back to. You quickly realize she's signaling for the two of you to find a ride back home. You nod in acknowledgement, and she seems somewhat surprised you actually understood her. Whew. She gives you a thumbs up and gestures for you to get going as she pulls Gabriel's arm and begins dragging him towards the office. Is Gabriel gonna be okay? Mouse asks worriedly, his eyes frantically examining Gabriel's unconscious body. Raquel nods again and signals for the two of you to leave. Okay. Hope you two will be. Before Mouse can finish his sentence, Raquel drags Gabriel into the office and closes the door behind her. Okay, she's gone. Mouse purses his lips and stares at the door for a few seconds before muttering. She scares me. The door opens again, and Mouse takes a step back in surprise. He didn't think Raquel could actually hear him, but apparently she did. She peeks her head around the door and shoos the two of you out before closing it again. I guess you'd better get going. You and Mouse eventually walk off to catch up with Caden, and he drives you back to your apartment. Caden says his goodbyes, then he drives off to his own apartment. It's been a long day, and your whole body hurts. As soon as you walk inside, you flop down onto the couch and sigh in relief. As you close your eyes on the couch, you feel a slight tap on your shoulder and hear muttering from beside you. You're all covered in blood. Here, let me help you. You feel a hand grasping onto your collar and begin pulling apart your suit. You raise your head and see Edwin smiling down as he gently pulls off your shirt. You look down to see your undershirt, scratched and burnt in a few places, but you don't feel much pain, besides the cuts and bruises you gained on your journey through the day. Mouse takes off your shirt and says, I'll get these cleaned, somehow. You go on and get some rest. As he walks away, you rise from the couch groaning in pain and make your way to the bedroom. You walk into the room and immediately plop down on your bed, face first. As usual, you take out your pistols and slide it beneath your pillow. You lay back and exhale, letting your muscles breathe. You close your eyes and fall asleep. As you let yourself fall into a deep slumber. Usually your mind would be racing with thoughts recalling what just happened in the last few days. But today your brain seems to be taking a break. You're too exhausted to think about anything. Without a second thought, you sink into unconsciousness and let your body rest. This has been quite a long day, and it's only been a few days since you first donned your mask. But hey, at least you're still alive. Alright, we'll stop there for today. Mostly because I don't think my throat can take it anymore. Scratchy voice makes a scratchy throat. Yeah. Whew. Well, I told you when we started this thing that it was going to be a long reading, and by God, we're already on episode 9. Gabriel talks so much that it's hard to keep up with the scratchy voice. It's not like Demon's Recollect, where it's where I only did one character with a scratchy voice, and that character didn't talk too much. Oh, Christ, son of a black guy, what have I gotten myself into? Well, either way, I'll see you guys later on tonight, maybe with Vermintide or Dying Light, with my boy Jay and Rob Hutt. Tomorrow, maybe I'll try out Project Zomboid with possibly Jay and my boy James. We'll have to see. Alright then, I suppose that's where we leave things off for today. I want you guys to have a great and awesome rest of your day. Stay frosty, and I'll catch you on the other side of the day. Adios. Yeah.